Hi, this is Karen, and I want to give you some tips for managing users and user permissions. So, if you have a lot of users in your company and you are a security admin or the company admin, then you may find yourself going in to change permissions on sheets and give people access to different things on a regular basis. And if you have enough people and they've made enough bill sheets, then that can get to be a bit messy. So we have a number of tools to help you with that. So first I want to start with the brand new tool that we just introduced, which is here under the account menu, and it's called User Permissions Summary. And so this is a great way to see all at once who can see what. So my account, I don't have that many users, although I do have a number of bill sheets. And so here I can see everybody that I have invited into this account, and I can open this up and see what we have given Michael access to see, and then see the actual details of it, including what level he's allowed to see it at. But this is just a normal grid, so you don't have to group it that way. You could, for example, group it by product and then by sheet, and say, okay, so for these bill sheets, for my artificial intelligence, who's allowed to see that, and then at what level. So you can use this like any other grid and just see every single thing every single person is allowed to see. All right, so that is there for you in case you ever want to check who is looking at a sheet, if anyone is looking at a sheet, and maybe, make some adjustments there. All right, so that is the first thing, is we've now given you a tool to have visibility on what everybody's permissions are against all of the products. Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to talk about is possibly creating some naming conventions for your company. So if you have enough people creating bill sheets, then when you come up here to say manage users and try to give people access to different bill sheets, then you just have a big, huge list of bill sheets here, and that can be not that helpful. So you're not quite sure who made what or what is what. Now, we've given you that new tool, but it sure would be nice to be able to see at a glance right here what's going on. So the way you can do this is to create some company rules. And so the first suggestion is to have people put their initials on the bill sheets they make, or their department initials, or if it's different projects or different clients, put that information on there. And if it's formatted the same across the company, then that will turn out to be very useful for you. So for example, if I put in artificial intelligence and I say that I made this one, I could put a KS in the beginning, or I could put, the client's name in here that we made it for, or I could say that this was for legal, whatever it is, I can put that in there. And then if I do that on all the sheets that are like this, then let me do two of them. So now here I've got this legal sheet, but if I say electric vehicles, we also made for legal, then just by naming it that way, then they wind up grouped here. And so all the things that go together are grouped together. You can even just use numbers if that is easier. But then also when I'm in here looking at somebody's bill sheets, then I have that clue right there in the name. So I can go through and I'll have initials or some information right here to be able to see. Okay, now the other thing that you can do, if you don't like initials, if you don't like how that looks, if you'd rather have those names clean, if you're using those names for other purposes, then you also have the subtitle. And I would like to point out that the subtitle on a sheet shows up here right in the management screen when I'm trying to look at permissions. So those subtitles can also be very handy. They will show up right here. So instead, I could have come here and signed this sheet. So the subtitle again is on the manage. So when you first create it, you can give it a subtitle. And so I can just say that that's my sheet. And then when you're looking, you'll see that right here, but you'll also see it when you are managing users and trying to say who should have what. Then especially if you're putting departments or clients, like this can be really handy, extra information for you. So consider using initials in the name, or consider using those subtitles, or both in different ways to really make it clear to everybody what's going on. So all the security administrators obviously will appreciate having this information at their fingertips. Oh, an important note, only the company administrator has the full access. I take that back. I think security administrators do, to this user permission summary. So only if you're a security admin or the company admin do you have access to that, seeing everything at once. But obviously these names and subtitles, anyone who you have given permission to the sheet will be able to see that information. So you can use that across the board for everybody. All right, so those are some suggestions for some company rules that you might want to set up for whatever makes sense for you, for however you're using your legislation tracking. And then the last tip is we do have the group management tools. And so that is the enterprise level, gives you this extra option in the menu of group management. And so here you can just create different groups. And so I have 2 groups already, but I can create a new one and call it new group. And then I just check off who I want to be in it. And now I have my new group. And so now for this group, or like if I have a new employee, I can throw them in here and then they will see everything I've decided to give employees. Or if I have a new bill sheet I want to share with my new group, then I can just come in here and go to bill sheets and say, I want them to see this artificial intelligence. And maybe I want them to be able to view the electric vehicle. So maybe this is actually legal. So then if I save this, then I have all just instantaneously given those permissions to everybody in that group, and that's done. And I don't have to go through person by person and assign it. And that's all this group management does, is it lets you throw a scorecard into a group, everybody sees it. Or it lets you put a person into a group and they see everything you've set up for it. So it's very handy if you've got, hundreds of users and hundreds of bill sheets and scorecards and stakeholder pages and things. You can then group them up so that you can give a whole bunch of permissions all at once using the groups. You can go through people one by one, so you don't have to have the group tools to manage permissions. But if you have enough people, then it might be helpful to have these groups. So I just wanted to highlight that that is a product that's available. But these other tools I suggested, this tool is available to everybody for every subscription, for company admins and security admins for every subscription. And then the naming conventions, that's for you to decide. And obviously you can use that at will, doesn't cost anything. All right, so those are my suggestions for how you might maybe take a little time over the summer, get things a little bit tidied up if you feel like your account has started to get out of control. All right, good luck. Take care.